Hey guys, it's me, Ruowen Huang. Today is a little bit difficult day for me because I think I woke up in the wrong side of the bed. But anyway, that's why I've been struggling whether I want to do the Periscope or not. But well, still, get online, and then we're gonna talk about something heavier today. Before I start, my name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Today we're gonna talk about what is depression. You'll be surprised how common depression really is. We all have some kind of depression. It's just we don't know that, right? Before I start, I guess I will share, my own experience with you guys. Before I even start this whole journey of psychic journey or whatever you said, I suffered through very severe depression. It was really bad. I was actually attempt to try to kill myself, right? That time, sure, and I did not know what actually gonna happen to those people who kill themselves, right? Now I know better. I would know, don't try that route. But at that time, what I tried to say is it was really bad. That's how bad it was. I was actually attempt to kill myself. And thanks to my kids, I guess it's kind of my waking call, because of my kids' present, or somehow, I see the look at their face, and I decided, that is a dumb idea, right? And then figured out a way to pull myself out together. And I remember that day when my husband came back home, and then he asked, how was my day? What was I doing? I remember I was jokingly say, yeah, I was about to kill myself. And he thought I was joking, right? The truth is I did try. But, must be meant to be. It was not success. It was not successful. So anyway, life goes on. I go through years, right, without suffering through it, and I thought I was totally cured from it. It's not until 2 years ago, again, it hit me really hard. Most of the people who have depression probably have an idea, like depression come and go. You almost don't know how to predict when it's gonna come and when it's gonna go, right? So because 2 years ago I was dealing with a very severe depression again, and then that's the moment I then put in the spot again, like what am I gonna do? Or I by now, unlike very first time, I already know what I know, right? I already have a clue, have an idea, but I guess that's the way universe wanna throw me a test to say, well, if you do know what you know, then prove you right. You know what I mean? So anyway, it was not easy, but then at that time I decided to put my theory into test, right? Because I have that drive that I always want to seek an answer for things. So, I put myself as a guinea pig and then try to really follow through what I believe. And it was then, it takes some time, but then slowly I get myself out of that, right? And then sure enough, later on, something very funny about depression is when you are in depression, you're actually not able to talk about it. You are not able to talk about it. People who can talk about depression are usually one who is over the depression. You know what I mean? Like, we can only talk about depression because we're over it. When we are in it, we have a hard time talking about it. So, is later on when we share with people will say, oh, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you, why didn't you tell me? I could have done something. See, when people are in depression, it's hard for us to talk. I don't know how you guys think, but it's hard. I will later on share why. But, so anyway, so what happened is, luckily, I am able to prove my theory right. And then I'm able to pull myself out of depression. And then, that's why later on I really want to get into studying and go back and reviewing and then understand the patterning, understand, what is creating this? How can I prevent it from happening to me again? Like, what can I do to stop this from reoccurring, right? So that's also why I start getting to, this whole topic of depression. And to my surprise, I actually realized depression is actually way more common disease than people know it. It just most of the time when it's very light, people don't usually pay attention to it. When people start paying attention to it, is usually when it becomes very severe. So I'm gonna draw a very simple graphic to show you guys. What actually really causes depression is actually when you are being, your being, your outside, your conscious is being pulled too far away from what your soul really are. You know what I mean? So basically, when I start getting into it and understand it and really try to figure out what is the cause of it, I realize the common patterning. Common patterning meaning who you are as a human, who you are as a human, how you live your life, how you choose to cope with things is too different from who you truly are. Does that make sense to you? That is, you may be very adventurous person, like your soul is very adventurous, like you like new things, you like to be straightforward, you like things to be just able to be speak who you are, what you think, and all that. But in reality, you are often being suppressed. Like, don't speak yourself, don't do that, you have to blend in, don't try new things, do a steady job, do an office job, right? So what really triggers depression is it usually start with the action. That action somehow creates some kind of emotion that you have to suppress who you truly are. And then when this got built up, when it slowly got built up to a certain percentage, that's when people notice is whether it's depression or not. So I'll give you a very simple graphic. I'm going to give you a very simple graphic here. Let's assuming here the distance between who you are outside and who you are inside. That is outside body versus soul. The more your outside being are closer to your soul, the happier you are. Let's say if they have no distance, the happier you are. Usually, we have tolerance to 50. That means normal people, as any normal people, we have tolerance to 50. We can live with unhappy thing, right? And we can still act normal, which is okay. Because you know why? We got the other 50% of the happy thing, we can kind of balance it out. So what happened is, when that event happened in regular basis or whatever, usually I would say in quite a regular basis, like I expect people, like, if I live in the world believing people expect me to be successful and I'm here feeling I am a loser and something like that, if every day I'm doing that, eventually that got built up. That built up, when it exists 50% of it, that means slowly who I am no longer speak who I am inside as a soul. And then it start go to that 50% benchmark. That's when it hits 60%. When it hits 60% is when you see people, when normal people will start sense called light depression. That means you will sense kind of happiness, but normal people brushing it out because we assume that just, their people have bad day once in a while, right? So we tend to brush it out and not to care too much about it. The time we start to notice they have a severe depression is when that who they are outside is 70% apart from who they are inside. That is 70%. That's the time when we actually start suspect, I think you have depression, because what happened is when you reach 70%, you tend to feel sad all the time. That means you can talk about, I want to eat this, or even you talk about your dinner and you feel like crying, right? You just feel sad all the time. When you go to the 80%, the 80% here, this is where you start isolating yourself, right? Believe it or not, when you are 70% or 60%, you can still talk about your mood. You may or may not group yourself to depression, but you will still be able to share somewhat, somehow, a little bit. But you are not able to talk about it at all when you reach 80%. That means who you are, you no longer question who you are has a value. You start to question everything you do, everything you say, and the meaning of it. That means you outside and inside already so detached. That means, one probably act like is happy, but inside is actually feeling so lost and sad or so neglecting. That's the time when you start isolating yourself. That's usually 80%. The worst part, when you get to 90%. When you hit the 90% is usually when you start having suicidal thoughts, which is where I was when my first depression hit me. Is when you feel there's no meaning of life, there's no reason to live. There is, because everything you do just seems wrong, everything you do. So that's a time you will actually possibly have a suicidal mode. So anyway, here I just want to give you guys sure enough, Google it. There's a lot of story about depression and tell you what the depression come from. Most of people will tell you depressions come from pressure, which it is. But the major cause of depression is actually coming from who you are as a being is too far apart from who you truly want to be. I mean, who I truly want to be as a soul. Here, I will give you an example. If who I truly want to be as a soul, as Ruowen, is someone to be free. Someone who can be straightforward, someone who can say what it is in my mind and pursue what it is that I want without thinking too much. But in reality, I'm always suppressing my own need. I'm always suppressing my own desire just so I can accommodate others. If I'm continue living a life like this, eventually who I am inside is not happy because it feels like suffocating. And then you will notice what depression usually creates is that suffocating feeling. You feel you cannot breathe. And why you feel you cannot breathe is that who you are inside is being suppressed so much you feel like you lack of oxygen. So, I myself, as I say, I myself deal with too severe depression myself. And I have a lot of clients who are dealing through that, right? And then a lot of loved ones, people I know actually suffer through it too. One bad thing about depression is when we are really in depression, we have a hard time talking about depression. The reason of that is because we don't want to cause more trouble for others. We don't want to make it become others people's burden. We don't want people to worry about us. We don't want people to we don't want to put people in the spot. So that's why a lot of time we know how bad that feeling feel, and then we are afraid to share that with any other people. That's why a lot of time when I see people actually suffer through depression, they actually cannot talk about it. They don't know how to talk about it, or but we often living in this world believing we are alone, because that's exactly how you feel. You feel alone. Right? You feel nobody will know your pain. You feel nobody will be there for you and save you. But anyway, I will later on share with you how, I thought I can talk about everything once, but I guess I cannot. I will later on share with you how I learned or eventually discover to cope with this. It is a very common disease. It's more common than you realize. Most of people, we don't realize we are coping with it, right? But it is more common than you realize. What I'm here to share with you guys is what is depression is. Very simple thing. Who you are outside is not matching with who you are inside. The bigger distance it creates, the more depressed you will feel, right? So, to a lot of people who may or may not suffer through it, you may or may not understand what it is. A lot of time you will say, hey, you should do that, you should do that, you should do that. See, trust me, the reason that distance create is because that should. They know what they should do. They know what they should do. They don't need you to tell them what they should do. It's who they are inside feel they cannot meet up that expectation. They cannot be that. You know what? That's why they cannot. They have depression. You know what I mean? Like, you should be happy. Well, if I could be happy, I would. If it's an option I can choose, I would, right? Or, you should just go out more, or you should do that, you should do that. See, most of the time when people suggest to a depression patient and say you should do that, the chances they already know what they should do. But can they do it is totally different story, because the pain is so real to them. Emotional pain is so real to them, they simply don't know how to make the move, right? Because later on, as I keep talking, you understand our body simply is a tool to our soul. If our soul feel the pain, the chances it manifests to reality to us that our body feel the pain too. But what I'm here try to share with you, since I'm just simply want to explain what depression really is what I'm here try to share with you guys is you guys will never be alone. you are not alone, right? A lot of people suffer through depression. They are just like you. They are not able to talk about it. But that doesn't make you the only one who suffers through depression here, right? So what I'm really here try to share with you guys is I've gone through it. And I know exactly how it feels like. And I'm pretty sure it's not just me. A lot of people out there, they've gone through that. And then they're really trying to share with you. Really, we all have one message for you only, no matter through word, through language, through graphic or through things, is we are here to let you know you are not alone. And you will never be alone. So when you feel depression, we are here sharing, simply want you to know one thing. If we can get out of it, you can too, right? We are somehow, some way, through our language, through our graphic, through our action, whatever we do is hoping to be that someone. Like when we are going through it, we don't see that someone there for us, but now we get over it, we hoping to be that someone, invisible person there to help you get out of your depression. So anyway, today I'll just simply share with you all that you guys have a little bit idea what depression really is and what caused it. So tomorrow hopefully I can share how I get out of it. But if you too suffer through depression, I hope this message is clear. You are not alone and you will never be. If we can get over depression, you can too. So again, it's a bit heavy topic, but I hope I get my message clear. Again, if you like what I'm doing, you can always join me live on Periscope or go to my Facebook or subscribe my YouTube channel or my website ruowen.com. Till then, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.